Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. We are live in our continuing series with the Bullion dealer interviews, and we have a couple of Autobots here. These are not human beings that are here. These are just, I'm just teasing. These are actual human beings. This is Tyler Wall and James Anderson from SD Bullion. So in order to distinguish, because they're both wearing blue, do you want to introduce yourselves as to who is who?
Sure. I'm James Anderson with the glasses. I do content marketing for SD Bullion.
I'm Tyler Wallace, CEO of SD Bullion.
Very cool. Great. Nice to meet you guys. And I appreciate you coming here. And a part of this series is to kind of bring the bullion dealers and the community together. And I think it could really be beneficial for both sides to get a gauge of the audience and of the customer base for the bullion dealers, and to also help those of us in the community have a better understanding of what goes on behind the scenes and some of the policies and decisions and products that are offered through these bullion dealers. So SD Bullion is here for this time, and how this will work is I will ask a series of questions, just basic questions. But really, what's going to really help make this interview great is your questions from the community. And so when that time comes, and hold your questions, please, until the time comes, I will let you guys know when to ask the questions, and it will be a series of characters that you will type before your question, so that I know that's a question for the bullion dealer, for SD Bullion, for Tyler and James from SD Bullion. So please hold your questions until then, at such time when it's noted. And the other ground rule is to please respect my guests. So you can ask tough questions. They're here to answer, but there may be some questions they may not be able to or feel comfortable answering. So please respect their decision if they decide not to answer a question. And then I would also ask that you be respectful in your question asking. So with that being said, let's get started. So thank you, guys. So SD Bullion was formed in 2012. And 2012 was an interesting year because it was the second year that we really saw these high gold and silver prices. Did the high silver prices and gold prices weigh into your decision to start SD Bullion? And what other factors may have contributed to starting the business?
Sure, I'll take that question. So we started a website in 2011. It was called silverdoctors.com. Actually, in 2011, it's probably silverdoctors.blogspot.com. Started just a blog about gold and silver, and myself and the other co-founder, just a news website initially. And we, about 7 or 8 months after we started that, we realized that we had all this traffic. I think we're close to 1 million page views per month by the 7th or 8th month. But at the end of the day, the display advertising or video advertising wasn't going to be enough to get us out of our day job. So our profession was, we're both licensed pharmacists, graduated together with our doctorate degrees, and kind of where the name Silver Doctors comes from is doctorate degrees in pharmacy. So we said, hey, we're gonna start a blog about gold and silver. We're gonna call it Silver Doctors. So we both had this interest to exit the pharmacy profession, even though we went to school for so long. It was we were really passionate about gold and silver and precious metals, and I think it was about 7 or 8 months in, we released an article or a blog post, and we were interested in buying some low price bullion. So we tried to gather up some people to do a group buy. So hey, anybody interested in doing a group purchase today to get lower price bullion? And to our surprise, there were a lot of people out there that were trusting enough to send us their interest in going in on the group purchase. So we took that interest and said, okay, this is interesting. Looks like we might have some enough interest to start selling if we wanted to do that, so we could exit our day job, so to speak. We're sure how we're going to do that until several months after that happened. I was playing basketball, and I tore my Achilles tendon. So I had 12 weeks outside the pharmacy I managed to kind of sit on the couch or lay on the couch. And by the end of the 12th week, I had trained our first employee on taking orders and fulfillment of orders and accounting, and that's where we kind of got started. And it started slow. I think the first half week we launched, I remember launching on a Wednesday, and I was the person, we didn't have our first employee started yet. So I was the person taking the phone calls. And I remember I had a office visit for a checkup of my Achilles tendon. I remember having my 2 computer screens and my headset on, waiting to take an order.
Wow.
And nobody called. So we had 4 calls that first week. 3 of them were from Canada. And that distracted me for quite some time on my target market. And now we've grown to, I think, around the 3rd largest in terms of traffic volume e-commerce bullion website in the country. Definitely top 5 by revenue. So it's been an interesting 7 years for sure.
Right. Wow. Fascinating. So the silver. So now, and I was going to ask that question too on how the Silver Doctors website tied in. So now we know SD Bullion is Silver Doctors Bullion.
Well, it's actually 2 different companies. So at this point of our development, so there's definitely a Silver Doctors is totally separate from SD Bullion, but SD Bullion definitely did initially leverage that connections on Silver Doctors.
Right. So the SD does stand for Silver Doctors, or
yeah, and that's where the SD came from initially. Right. Silver Doctors.
It wouldn't have been as cool as Silver Pharmacists.
Yeah, no. that would have been. Yeah, and that's an idea for Silver Round. You can have your Achilles heel, and
yeah, right.
And by the way, how is your foot now? How is the ankle?
Great. Yeah, I made it back on the basketball floor a few times, but I don't really have much time to do that now leading this company. So.
Right. I'm sure. Right. Well, very good. So sounds like it's been a good run, and for 7 years, the business has done well and everything. And it's amazing how many companies have kind of sprout up through that in that time period. Well, very good. So what would you, as far as your business model and what was some of the biggest growing pains you think you've had as a business in those 7 years?
Yeah, so probably our biggest growing pains, I say the fact that we decided not to take on any debt. So what that meant was initially myself and the other co-founder, we both threw in a couple Monster boxes each to the initial inventory. We didn't take on any debt, and that meant we only had about 5 to 10 SKUs on our website when we first started. And every time we wanted to add a SKU, we had to have enough profits built up to add that additional SKU. So we kind of grew a little bit slower in the beginning than what we would have if we said, hey, we're okay with taking on debt. That's been one. And then I think from a credit, I remember one of the biggest obstacles to come over was credit cards, merchant services. I remember one day, probably a couple months after we started, where I got a call up from our merchant services, and they said, we're going to have to put a reserve on your account. I said, what do you mean a reserve on your account? So, well, in one day you just processed what we had you scheduled for the entire year. I said, well, that's great. We're growing. They said, no, that's not how merchant services works. There's a risk assigned to your account, and you guys are doing too much volume.
Wow.
That took me a couple of days to fight through that battle, and eventually I found another merchant service company that was able to handle the volume and was okay with it.
Right. Wow. Something else. By the way, guys, hold your questions until at such time. We'll get to your questions soon. Well, yeah, that's fascinating. So I guess the another question I had, as far as how do you decide what products to carry?
That's a good question. I mean, you got your basics, right? You got your standard bullion products, but like when it comes to specialty items. Yeah, so I think for us, we've always been bullion guys. I mean, that's what our company stands for, is bullion. I started off with your silver rounds, your silver eagles, your 100-ounce bars, nothing on even graded products. I think we didn't take on our first graded product for 2 to 3 years after we started.
we didn't know anything about them. And I think it was just adding that one SKU at a time and seeing what worked, analyzing the sales, and getting interest from communities like yours on what you guys wanted. And just, we have about 600 to 1,000 SKUs on the website now that are live and in stock, but it's not 10,000 SKUs. So still today, we still take on, we put a lot of work into, adding the SKUs and thinking about which SKUs we want to add and which ones you guys would like to see.
And for those who don't know, SKU is a number that's tied to a product. So
that's right.
And a lot of it is, been in the industry for a long time. A lot of it's trial and error. You don't really know until you try.
What works or what doesn't work, right?
Yeah, you hope, you think it might hit, and maybe it doesn't, maybe it does. Maybe it hits so hard that you can't even service it.
So if I gave you a silver bullion product in the shape of a kitty feces, that probably wouldn't do so well, would it?
I don't think so.
Probably wouldn't do very well. That would probably be a no-brainer. That's something you wouldn't want to contain.
Some of the funnest meetings, though, are shooting down some ideas. That is always an enjoyable, fun process to see people's ideas get shot down.
Yeah, that one, like this one, like the silver kitty poop, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Very good. So, so you had mentioned, Tyler, that you didn't know a whole lot about the grading aspect, and so it took a while for you guys to get into that portion of it, which is more of the numismatic nature. But going back to your deepest childhood memories, were you ever interested in coin collecting or precious metals before all of this with Silver Doctors? I guess you had to have some interest in it, or else you wouldn't have started the blog.
Right. So early 2000s, I remember being in the computer lab with the other co-founder when we're studying to be pharmacists, and I was looking at stocks on a computer screen, and most gold and silver bugs, they like to turn their screen so nobody sees what they're looking at when it comes to gold and silver. But I kind of like leaned over, and I remember looking at his screen, and I saw gold and silver. I said, well, what are you doing looking at those gold and silver, platinum stuff? Like, to me, with my finance background, I was pretty strong in finance. I was like, well, those are fixed assets. Those aren't generate any sort of return. So what are you doing to that? And I'm looking at stocks. Like, I've always been, back then I was just interested in stocks, and it's like, well, he's asked me what am I looking at my stuff for? So over the next probably 3 or 4 years after that, we battled back and forth, and he was comfortable with talking to me about precious metals, and I was comfortable talking to him about stock investing. And then the 2008 financial crisis happened, and all my financial knowledge, all the background I have an MBA as well, and it didn't make any sense. Nothing added up. Like, you had Warren Buffett out there getting special deals on these stock options, and I'm like, well, sign me up for those. I want an option to buy another share at half price after 3 or 4 years, and I saw record demand for precious metals, but yet the paper price was hitting, $8 an ounce for silver, or whatever it bottomed out at. I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. There's just no way this is forecasting out the 6 or 8 months that we've been told in all these finance courses. That's not forecasting that what that 6 or 8 month price should look like. That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
I remember walking into my mom's office. She's an insurance agent, and she had her financial salesperson there in the office, and we started talking. And I told him I was interested in. I've been buying, at that point, I started buying gold and silver. And he's like, well, that's not a good investment. I said, what do you mean it's not a good investment? He's like, well, I just read an article that nothing makes sense about the gold and silver investing right now, so you just need to stay out of it. I'm like, well, to me, that means I got to buy.
Right.
I don't have to buy, I'm buying. So, my interest started in 2008 when that collapse happened. That's when I made my first purchase. And, very happy I did. It took a run up, but I don't look at it like a short-term holding. It's physical precious metals, and look at it for the long term. So that's where I got started.
Right. Very good. Very good. Well, awesome. So going back to the business itself, you guys, there's been certain things, and I think I've made a purchase. I may have made a purchase with you guys a while ago. But I noticed there's been some policy changes, and the most recent is your decision to move from $7 shipping no matter what you buy, to free shipping over $99, which seems to be the industry or the bullion dealer standard as of late. And I think a lot of people have applauded that. If I recollect, I think that was started as a temporary, but now it's moved to permanent. Is that right?
Right. So we did have that 777 for a while. It kind of goes back to our roots. That's the price that we've always had, and we were getting a lot of complaints about it, but it still felt like a really reasonable price. But you know, different communities. It wasn't just. It was a lot of different individuals said, "Hey, you know, we really don't like paying shipping prices."
Right.
Well, okay. Well, we have to change our thoughts to meet our customers' kind of demand, so to speak. So. We went to that policy, I think, was it late November?
Yeah, just a couple months ago.
It seems to be way more accepted. Our positive or 5-star reviews are going way up, and our 1-star reviews that were just related to our shipping have gone way down. And I think it's been a good move. I think it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But so far, the metrics look really, really good, and definitely appreciate all the customers out there purchasing from us and giving us a chance if they were initially scared off by the $7.77 shipping.
Yeah. Very good. So there you have it, folks. So right now, it is policy now. If you spend $99 or more, you get free shipping from SD Bullion, which is great. Great news. Another thing is for your e-check option. Is it still the case where you have to make several purchases by regular check before you get before you are eligible to use the e-check option?
I believe so.
That's right. Yeah, a couple orders for security purposes. I believe it's I think it's like 2 or 3 orders. You have to process through before you get the e-check option to show up. But we do have e-check, and that's new as of, I believe, November-ish time period as well. Really requested feature or option to add on to SD Bullion. We're working on that for quite some time. It's not that easy on the technical side, but it's up there now.
Right. And I know probably somebody's going to ask this, because other bullion dealers that have introduced the e-check option, they just accept it. Because I guess the routing and an account number is what it is. And so, but what would, I guess, why do you, I mean, I understand it's for security purposes, but is there another way to verify security so people, because in this day and age, especially, you know, mailing a check has almost become passe, you know, it's like, it's so antiquated.
No doubt.
Yeah. So our fraud systems, I can't talk about too specifically, but I can tell you that, you know, the top, 3 or 4 dealers, they're very sophisticated in terms of being able to control. We're the second most target industry for fraud. And, the only one that's the number one is online gift card purchases. So we really have to make sure that, like an individual like Sal, if you get a check from somebody, that you just don't take that check account number, routing number, and go to sdbullion.com and plug it in to make yourself a Gold Eagle purchase on the person that just gave you a check for mowing their yard. So it's definitely something that we feel like we have to establish some sort of relationship with. There could be other options, but the other options that we would consider probably would be more intrusive than what you would want to share anyway. So I don't think we want to, potentially provide a, social security number or driver's license number or upload a driver's license certificate. It seems that most gold and silver bugs, including myself, like our privacy. So we still think that right now is the most unobtrusive way, is just to have a couple orders under your belt before you're able to have that e-check option on the website.
Can I send you a blood sample?
Yeah.
That might be easier. No, I'm kidding. No, that's fine. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, very good. All right. Well, cool. So, speaking of products, do you know how many different products you're offering now, approximately?
I think it's around 600 to 1,000 different products or SKUs that are
definitely have grown. That's amazing. Yeah. Very cool. Nice. Well, awesome. So then the last question I have before we transition to the questions from the viewers here is, where do you see SD Bullion in the next couple of years, or even 10 years down the road?
Great question. I mean, we're in this just like we have been from 7 years ago. There's nothing that's changed for us. We're very interested in staying our path on bullion and low price bullion. We always want to have our lowest price bullion in the country. That's where we want to stay. I don't, from the numismatic piece, I can't see us going too far down there, except for graded proofs, all the stuff that now valued, and I understand now those things will continue to we'll give more options to our customer base. But I think we'll just continue to grow in the direction that we have been growing over the last 7 years.
That's awesome. That's very good. You're focused and providing products and services to the viewers and or to the customers. That's excellent. And really just kind of a thought of another one. As you've through these 7 years and having over 600 products now, you I'm sure have seen a lot of the stuff come through. Is there any pieces that really just struck out that you really enjoyed, that any favorites that you just like, whoa, I gotta get one of these?
Well, I did bring a couple products for you, Sal, because I know that you like to see some coins.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of, before you show us, Tyler,
yeah,
I was remiss. I've got to tell you guys, there will be a promo code at the end of this interview, so please stay tuned. There will definitely be a promo code. There will be a special code at the end, but you have to stay tuned till the end to find it. So yes, indeed, yes. All right, so let's see what we've got here. Very good.
All right, so I'm not sure how it's going to show up on the screen. So the story behind this is we're focused on our low prices. So we were looking at putting together a low price round. We were trying to design a low price round, and so we had a idea in mind for it, and produced a sample of what we thought was going to be a low price round. And I can see if we can show this to you guys.
Right.
There you go. You get a little backup here.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, okay. Let's see here. If you put your hand behind it, it should focus on that. It's one to focus on the background. Yeah, and bring it up just a little bit closer. Sorry.
It's all good.
I see some sort of creature on there, but it's hard to kind of make out. Boy, oh, look at this tree of life on the reverse of that. Wow.
So this happens to probably be the rarest round in the world. It's only one minted.
Pass it through the screen. I want to hold it.
Only one minted in the world. It's because we initially designed this to be a round.
Right.
And if you recognize that either side, we ended up launching it as the Roaring Lion, a Nui Mint product.
Okay.
$3 Nui Mint product, where we actually separated the design for a Roaring Lion on one coin, and then we took the Tree of Life and we put it on a second coin.
Nice.
And instead of being the lowest price round in the world, it became the lowest price coin in the world.
Wow.
So I think they might have not understood that it was a New Zealand mint.
New Zealand mint.
Yeah,
right.
Official real tender coin of the New Zealand mint.
Are there images of this online somewhere?
Yeah. So if you search our website for the 2018 Roaring Lion, we only minted 50,000. They sold out within, I think, 60 or 90 days. The Tree of Life, we did 50,000. They sold out within 60 to 90 days.
Wow.
I think there's some on eBay right now, but we initially launched this at a price point. Both of them were launched at 99 cents over spot. So incredible amount of demand for.
I'm going to share this. I'm going to see this here. Let's see here.
Yep, that's the Tree of Life. Yep.
Wow, oops, that is cool. Man, look at the security features behind it. That is awesome.
So it's half of a Bible verse is what. They're both. One has half of the Bible verse. The other one has another half of the Bible verse. It completes the verse, and you have to get a coin loop out so you can read the verse.
Right here, you shall know the truth. That's cool.
That's right.
That is awesome. Wow.
And so I think on eBay, I was looking at eBay here last week. They're going for like $30 or $40, and we sold these things for 99 cents over spot.
Man. And how did you get the Nation of New Way to get on board with this?
So we did this through Republic Metals. And I know you like Republic Metals, so I know you're trying to make a purchase for them right now.
Right, yes, indeed.
How's that purchase going for you?
Well, I couldn't quite get funding in time. Val Camby beat me out for $16 million higher than what I was willing to.
I thought you should have started a GoFundMe campaign.
I should have, man, just like for the wall. Yeah. What's the name of the other coin? I'm sorry.
Roaring Lion.
Roaring Lion. See that one. Oh, wow. Yeah, of course, with Val Canby buying Republic Metals now, that will have to go through Val Canby. But look at that. And the truth will set you free. Wow, I never knew these things existed. I love the security features. The lion looks cool.
Yeah. We're actually going to be coming out with a 2019 edition of this coin in probably about a month or two.
Okay.
It's going to be capped at 50,000 again, so we expect them to sell pretty quick. But we transitioned it this year to Sunshine Mint, so I think it'll actually be more sought after because Sunshine Mint's quality is outstanding, and a lot of silver bugs really like the Sunshine Mint product.
They also have great security features, and they also are the suppliers of the blanks for the Silver Eagle.
Right.
So you work it out through them, and then they secure the monetization.
Well, we have an FNG agreement with New Zealand Mint directly. So we have that agreement, and then we take that minting to Sunshine. So it's
Julian Bullion just had $4.99 towards my GoFundMe account for me to purchase another. So there we go. Thanks, Julian Bullion. Well, because I wouldn't mind having an effigy thing with a product. That'd be kind of cool to have a coin made.
Yeah,
a coin made.
Who wouldn't want to be on a coin? That's awesome.
Yeah, I have to put something on. I wouldn't be cat poop though. I wouldn't put it. But it might be something else. But well, that's very cool. Well, thanks for sharing that, guys. I never knew that. I totally missed that one. There's a lot of releases out there, but that's great. Sounds like that was a successful venture in 2019. Stay tuned for SD Bullion for the next coin to come through that process. That's awesome. Now, since it would be kind of cool to see both of those come together in one piece. Have you thought about doing a private around with those, or can you? You may not legally be able to. I don't know.
Well, I think we actually probably could. You're talking about like the round that I have the one of and make it like an antique or that might be a possibility. We'll see how much.
I think that would be even better because it's ties together both the obverse and reverse. The verse is on both of them. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
We'll take a look at the comment section. If you're for that, let's hear you guys. Let's hear the community.
If you guys would like to see this round that he's got. He hold it up again there, Tyler. Let's see. This is the with the roaring lion and the tree of life as a product like that, or antiqued, or a variation of both. Type in the number 47 for the for silver if you'd like to see that. If they'd like to make that round, that'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. I think. Type the number 47 if that would be something you'd like to see.
47.
This is you want to talk about getting a pulse of the community. This is the way to do it.
Of course.
47's popping up. 47, which is the atomic number for silver. There you go. And of course, Donald in New Mexico, he's going to put 74, which is his age. And Silver Backstacker's got a dirty mind. He's going to put 69 on there. But let's see. Very good. All right. Nice. Well, cool. All right. Looks like the majority has it. There we go. 47, especially 99 cents over a spot. It's a great deal. All right. Well, very good. But I might add a Sal commission in there, for the idea. I'm teasing. Well, very good. Okay. So this next point, I'm going to test something here. Let me see here. I'm going to try, let's see here. Okay, don't ask the question yet, but shift and the character beside the one, put a bunch of those little squiggly lines there before your question, and then I'll know it's for James and Tyler of SD Bullion. But here's how we're going to do this. Be respectful. You can ask tough questions, but just be respectful and understand they may not be able to answer. And then, so that's for you guys. And for James and Tyler, James had to go to the bathroom, I think. I don't know. But anyways, if you guys, so we can get as many questions as we can in here, try to be concise in answering so we can go through these relatively quickly because I have a feeling we're going to have a lot. Terry Ravadou's first question when will this show end? She's already bored. She likes she's 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 a good person. She's our resident troll. Alan Gold is my little pet troll since he's not here. She's all right. So let's see here. Northeast 2019, gold or silver, a better buy. Okay.
Wow. 2019, gold or silver, better buy. I mean, the ratio right now, where are we at, Sal? Is it in the mid 80s?
Mid 80s, yeah. It goes anywhere between 85 to 84, 82 to 1.
Yeah, all right. So, this is a question of your outlook. I mean, there's a camp of people out there who think that gold eventually will be the foundation of potentially a new monetary system. And there may be a spike in silver, but, like most silver spikes, they tend to fade away pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But they, when on the way up, they're like this, right? So if you're up there trading on the way up, you can make a pretty good haul. So, this is really a question of your viewpoint, I think. Silver at 85, the ratio had tightened down in 2011 to 33. And my personal opinion is that we're going to see lower than that at some point.
Oh, okay.
It's probably just a question of what happens with the Federal Reserve and when they finally show their hand. The corner they back themselves into, it doesn't look good. And the only way essentially to get out of it is to go in and start propping up the market, maybe doubling or more the balance sheet. That's going to be US dollar negative. And in that kind of situation, all hell could break loose for precious metals. And so my expectation is 2011 was just the beginning. You're going to probably see something crazier in the 2020s.
Yeah, I saw a press conference with Jerome Powell, and he put up both of his hands. I saw all 5 fingers in both hands. So I think that's about as transparent as we're going to get from them. Italian G's got a very important question. Who is the brunette in the YouTube commercials? Asking for a friend.
That's a good question. We get that asked a lot in the chats as well, continuously throughout the day. So we can't give out any details. We don't want to lose her.
No names.
We don't want to lose her as a marketing day.
All right. And then Silverback Stacker asks, why'd you go to the buy 1,500 ounces for the best price model? Makes you no longer the best deal on bullion.
It's an interesting question. So, free shipping, obviously shipping's not free.
Right.
We didn't want to subsidize, say a larger investor and ask them to pay for all the smaller investors for us losing money. So we kind of went to, some of our products are tier prices where you're going to pay a little bit more for the 1 to 9 tier, maybe than any quantity special. And there might be some any quantity specials that you want to check in on our weekly deals for sure, where you can take advantage. But on that smaller investor, the shipping is not free. We're losing money on every single order we send out for, even if you order 4 or 5 ounces. On that bigger investor, there's a little bit more cushion because they're ordering so many ounces. You can give them a little bit better price. It's not that much better price. I think on the average, maybe it's a penny or 2.
Right.
But we like to be the lowest prices possible. If there's a tier that's, hey, I'm a 500 ounce. If I buy 500 ounces, 1 monster box, and we're not the lowest price, send us a message because we want to be the lowest price, and we're to make sure we are the lowest price. So
right.
If that's happening, I need to speak to my product management team because this means that we need our prices lower.
All right. Thank you. All right. Tech Time C. Is there any thought of introducing international shipping to Australia?
We've actually added international shipping. I believe if you go to our shipping policy page and you click on a hyperlink, there should be a hyperlink there to international countries. I thought that was a country on that list.
I'll say it should be.
Yeah, so I think we did add that in probably middle of 2018.
Yeah.
Okay. And Silver Wolverine asked, did premiums go up when you started the free shipping over $99? So is it baked into the price? I guess you sort of talked about that.
Yeah, so we have, shipping's not free. There is a little bit of that factored into the premiums, but we are taking losses on the smaller orders. So kind of think a little bit more about how we price things, but we're still going to have some any quantity specials, quite frequently on the weekly deals. So if we get, a buyback or we get offered a large amount of something that we want to move, we want to pass that savings on to you guys, and that's where the any quantity specials will happen. And our job is to keep our prices low, and even the small stacker gets a really good deal.
Keep the lights on.
Yeah, right. We got to keep the lights on. There is overhead.
Right.
And overhead costs haven't gone down since we first started.
That was from Silver Wolverine. Now sing it with me. We all live in a silver Wolverine. Silver Wolverine. Sorry, I cannot help it. I've got to sing that every time his name pops up, even if I have a bullion dealer on.
Maybe you start doing push-ups, Sal. I saw that one interview.
Oh,
you were doing push-ups. I thought that was great.
Yeah, I need to do some more. But the thing is, out of New Mexico will just say they're fake, even if I show everything, my full body shot, they'll say it's fake. But I'll do some push-ups. Y'all have you give you a long answer for some of these, and I'll do a couple, and I'll get winded. Mr. Monkey Swag, ever since you guys started adding in graded products, did you hire personnel knowledgeable in the numismatic market?
That's interesting. Our first graded product that we added in 2 years after we started, we added in Silver Eagles. So we've added in a lot more graded stuff, but you're not going to see a huge amount of SKUs that are graded stuff. So we have some knowledgeable people on staff now with experience in precious metals that were even before SD Bullion or outside of SD Bullion. We have plenty of now of expertise as it relates to the products that we sell on graded and proof. So I guess that answer is yes, because there has been people hired that have outside knowledge, but we also have, I would say 90% of our staff is interested in precious metals, and some people are interested in the collectibles, and those are homegrown talent. And on dip days, I sometimes have to like close my eyes, because all I see is, okay, well, looks like we have about 15, 20, 30 employee orders, because they're all interested in stuff.
Right. Wow. That's cool. All right, Mr. Roman, how come you've been out of Mercury dimes? Oh, okay.
That's a good question there. I think with the amount of 90% we moved through about a week and a half ago. I think they offered that at 55 cents over spot, if I remember correctly. I bet you we had so much volume, volume come through. We might have to use some of our Mercury dime inventory for that purpose. So I expect that product to be back in stock here shortly.
Hey, great. All right. DB Stupid, would you consider changing the return address due to privacy? In other words, I don't know if when you put your products out, do you put SD Bullion bearings?
Yeah. So right now it's been we try to mix it up every once in a while so people don't get familiar with the volume that we're sending out. But I think currently we're using SD bearing supply for the most of it. The return address though would be kind of hard to change, because that's a mandatory thing for the policy.
Yeah, maybe you can call it kitty litter.
Yeah, there you go. Clean kitty litter.
Oh, yeah, coin kitty litter. The Stacking Kid, can we pay in cash?
Fortunately not. We don't.
Yeah, I can explain this. Oh, I can explain this. Yeah, you can pay in cash equivalents underneath a certain threshold. But look in the bullion industry, for example. I mean, we're setting ourselves up to be a high volume online bullion industry player, right? And so key there is keeping the overhead low so you can pass savings on to your customers and compete.
Yeah.
And so we're not a coin shop. We don't have a massive showroom for people to come, and that builds in overhead, and that essentially takes us out of the market for being the lowest price.
Right. Focus on security, and part of that security is not having a retail storefront for sure.
And never send cash in the mail either. It's not.
No. I mean, I just converted to a postal money order, and we definitely accept those for I think up to $10,000.
We did a blog recently, and even an infographic. It's on our website in the resource section, but it's about privacy when you're buying from a bullion dealer and the various stipulations that we have to adhere to in order to keep our customers' information as private as possible.
Right. Michael Krubrin, who is the principal of MK Bars, perhaps you've heard of them.
Yep.
He's here, and he says, what keeps your business model profitable? When do all the online sellers compete to sell their products near spot? Who backs you from a credit standpoint? And how does the slim profit margin support business?
Yeah, so I think I alluded a little bit to that in the beginning of the interview, what makes us different, and that we do not have any debt. So for us, that's been huge. We don't have interest or loans or credit lines. For us, it's always been about growing within our means. So we only had 5 or 10 SKUs initially.
Right.
Initially, if you read on our bio, it was just a telephone and low prices. And I worked on the e-commerce portion of the business. We had it up within like 2 or 3 months after we first started taking phone calls. But it's been growing within our means, and I think one of our strengths, one of my strengths personally, is just computer systems and information systems and connecting those to work effectively and efficiently. And I think we're probably one of the most efficient companies that's around. It's very efficient, very high-tech computer systems talking to each other, automating a lot of processes so we don't have a lot of people punching in numbers.
Efficiency translates to less time involved in which translates to lower prices, which translates to
able to handle volume too.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That's right.
That's key. When the volume comes, you got to be able to deliver.
Now, Bill 457 has a great question about this the Supreme Court's decision about taxation.
Right.
And a lot of bullion dealers are going to be charging taxes. Do you charge taxes, and what do you think about taxes on bullion?
Right. So we will start charging sales tax within a month or two. There's some states that require it. As a bullion guy, most of me wants to fight back, so to speak. I mean, there's a lot of me that says, hey, especially when you talk about currency coins, you're taxing money. Like that's you should not be able to do that. So I think I can wage those wars. For me, those wages are the wars are better in this community, and trying to use communities like this or communities like a Silver Doctors or Zero Hedge or somewhere out there to try to rally support. For us, there's obviously some liability if we don't collect sales tax, and then it comes to our door knocking and say, hey, you owe us for 6% sales tax, and our margins are quarter, half, 1%, whatever they may be on the products that we sell. The margins just don't support taking that risk. So we will start collecting it. Currently, our sales tax is limited to Michigan and Ohio, which we have business operations on, but both of those have exemptions on precious metals. So since we went to the free shipping model, the only tax that applies to those states would be if you buy the survival food, water filtration systems, or a safe or vault. We sell those different product lines too. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Super U68 wants to know, why are the premiums on platinum so high versus gold or silver?
That's essentially a question of supply and demand, I believe. I mean, the lack of supply for platinum in general. I think the volume too, to move them, the speed at which they move, the velocity in which they turn over, very slow compared to gold and silver.
And the cost it takes to produce those, I imagine, probably too, right?
Yeah. I mean, when you crunch down the numbers of how much platinum is pulled out of the earth year on year versus gold or silver, it's completely dwarfed. I mean, there's just not that much platinum, and it's amazingly cheap right now. When I look at charts, and it's going to be a generational cheap time, I think, when we look back 10 years from now for how cheap platinum is, especially versus gold. It's like on a record level. In 100 years, it's never been this cheap compared to gold.
Yeah. Ravenous Treasure, and this might be one for you, Tyler. You have an app, or are you planning to have an app for SD Bullion?
Yeah, we have looked at apps. We don't have an app yet. So I think that's definitely in our roadmap, so to speak. But currently, that has not been added.
Yeah, speak from personal experience, it's not a lot of return on revenue in an app. So
right. Stacking Nerd says she doesn't have any good question, but we're just glad the Stacking Nerd's here. That's all. All right. Milled Steel says, are you planning on accepting e-checks? Well, they do accept e-checks. We talked about that earlier. Milled Steel, they accept them, but you have to kind of vet it through a couple of purchases first by regular check. Alan 30189, forget about Terry. How disrespectful. Oh, well, okay, never mind. All right, he's just joking around there. Silver Fox, will they bring back the 10-ounce silver at spot deal?
Quite possibly. That is in the works. The Proclaim Liberty Bar was produced by Republic Metals, so we had to find a new home for that. We have. It's I believe it's pretty close, within a few weeks away from being debuted again. It'll be a Silvertone mint product, and we're kind of waiting for that before we make any decisions on that offer.
Nice. Rainbird, James, does all the dealer hedging suppress the silver price?
Oh, no, it's a speck dust in the true scheme of things. I mean, look, if you crunch down the volume of physical bullion that the United States investors buy versus the volume that's fake gold and silver that's basically sold in the COMEX or various other futures exchanges. It's a spec. It doesn't mean much.
Right. Let's see here. Boy, I'm way behind in this chat. Let's see here. Where do you guys think Bitcoin is heading? I saw your video on it a few months ago and thought it was great.
There's not that many Bitcoin bulls in the house. It depends. There's a few of them, I suppose. There's a couple of them that enjoy the trade of it and the chase of it. But me, I got theories that I don't think Bitcoin bulls will like, and I really don't. There may be one more ramp. Let's just say that.
Right.
I will say there may be one more price ramp. You may go past 20,000 again. But in the end, my contention, I owned it in 2013, 2014. It was one of the craziest things to go out and buy it on localbitcoin.com, I think.
Right.
I remember sending an ACH to some unknown party. The only reason I did it, they had 40 people who had bought from them before, decent reviews. So I bought a couple of them, and I sat. Price was kind of sideways down, and it just didn't jazz me. Gold and silver, at least I have it in my hand. I know it's there. There's no middleman, right? And Bitcoin, when the more you investigate it, you go down the rabbit hole of where's price discovery. When you can understand where price discovery is, it gets very, very questionable.
Right.
I kind of feel bad. I know there's some customers that we had that sold out a large amount of silver and gold. I think it was end of 2017 or 2017 when kind of Bitcoin was going out of tear. They sold out their gold and silver and they dove into Bitcoin. I think they were washing away, doing some capital losses on their gold and silver. It had gone down, so they had purchased it, but then they dove into Bitcoin at nearly the worst time to get into it. So I still think that the history of money backs gold and silver. I mean, there's so much history behind it. It's like, why do you want to take a chance? Spec position in cryptos, a few $100 or $1,000, maybe that doesn't hurt, but for me, it's I like the security of knowing what the history of money has been, and that's gold and silver.
That's kind of where I'm at too. All right, so we're going to try to catch up. We're going to move a little faster if we can, so we get as many of these questions as we can. Michael Cabrin from MK Bars, do you plan on carrying hand-poured bullion?
I think we had a hand-poured bullion from Republic Metals. That's a tricky topic because I think you might touch on this, Sal, but Republic Metals was a huge mint and refiner. It might have been the largest in the country.
Right.
They produced a lot of products. They had a lot of capacity. Right now, from the private mint bars and rounds, there's a limited amount of places that can truly produce low price bullion products and poured products. And until we know more, until you purchase Republic Metals, Sal, we're stuck with several companies, and I don't think there's a really good company that comes to mind that specializes in that poured bars at a decent price. So
right.
Hopefully, Republic Metals and the equipment that they use for poured bars, or somebody else steps up into the market. I think that will happen. I'm not sure on the timetable yet. Right now, there's definitely some tightness and not enough capacity, minting capacity right now in the private minted bars and rounds. And
so you're looking to carry as low premium poured as you can. That's kind of where your focus is. Yeah.
Yeah. Based on analytics, and there's definitely some customers that just will only buy poured, or they seek that product out.
Right.
But quite frequently, we see that as a price sensitive, product where maybe they'll pay 10 or 15 or 20 cents more than a minted bar, but they won't pay a couple of dollars more. And so right now that disparity between the two products is just too large for most customers to be interested in paying more for a poured bar.
Right. Okay. Very good. Texman 81 military veteran discount. Do you have those?
I believe we do. I can't remember with that free shipping offer. I know it changed, so I think I might have trouble speaking to that. But if they email our sales team, they might be able to have more information on that.
Okay. No name. SD Bullion products in Canada without getting fleeced on shipping. How many do they have to order to get a break? I think a lot of that depends on the customs and stuff, right?
Well, in Canada, it actually varies greatly on their destination zip code. unlike United States, where a lot of our shipping prices, like you have the USPS with flat rate pricing and some prices that don't differ as much. Canada, since it's so large, the prices really depend on the zip code, and then depends on what they're ordering. So some of our products, say we're shipping to Toronto, our shipping rates are pretty cheap for say a Monster box. And you do the math and you average out how much per ounce that your cost is. But if you're out in the boonies in Canada, it is incredibly expensive to send you heavyweight silver shipments.
Yeah, we have an example of somebody who wasn't listening to the questions. This is the second time somebody's asked the same question, and we answered it about the Mercury dime. So rewind and go listen to that again, because we answered.
You need to get that in stock.
Yeah. Armored Gaming, he got my attention with a super chat with his question. Thank you, sir. How many ounces do I need to buy post collapse for an average home here? And 500 ounces of silver. Also post collapse, what would be the average pay be in silver?
Okay.
Interesting. That's kind of an open-ended question. Yeah.
Did he say what location in the United States?
No, I think he is. I think he's from the UK.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you look at the long-term chart of that, there's a chart in, I use a lot this website called Gold Charts R Us, and I believe he uses the mean house, not the median. But right now, if you want to go to Detroit in the wrong neighborhood, you could probably get one for a case of silver, no problem.
Yeah.
We're talking the median house. I think in the 1980 peak, there was like a brief moment in time where it dipped below 1,000 ounces. And that doesn't take into account the transaction costs. And again, I'm talking about the mean house.
Right.
So a median house in the United States, I mean, I can understand the argument for that, because the baby boomers supposedly dying off and the millennials are pretty broke. The generations to follow may not inherit the earth. So you may have a glut of housing here. And the question is that what will be the price equilibrium? And 500 ounces for a house, or will be 1,000? We could see it again for a brief moment in time, kind of like 1980. Right.
Very good. Jason Bourne, he's identified himself here. Sorry, forgot the symbology. What do you think of the miner mergers? There's a guy posted a video just before this interview of the biggest gold mining merger in the industry.
Yeah, I just did a video earlier today. I was speaking with Lewis over at Small Gold about this. Newmont Mine is I believe, second largest gold miner in the world. Gold Corp is the fourth. So the combination of the two, I think it aggregates 242 tons a year. So that's like, give or take about 1/10 of the new line gold that comes out of the ground in the world. So I guess it's a big deal in the sense that, it's going to be a very, very large corporation. And there's people out there who own, mining stocks who are getting very excited thinking, oh, here comes the consolidation period and it's time for me to gap up my mining shares. But I mean, in the end, these companies, a lot of them are inefficient. And so what probably will end up happening here is they're going to combine the mines that they have, all the stuff they have, and probably mothball some of the ones that aren't performing so well, and then really focus in on the ones that are and use economies of scale to hopefully yield more gold. So a lot of people are trumpeting this as being, it'll probably end up shrinking supply just a hair. So in the end, it's probably, a little bit more headline crazy than probably is in the ultimate outcome of it.
Right. Very good. Stacking NYC, who is actually on Instagram, but he's also making his inroads here on YouTube. He's actually produced a television show. He's going to probably get ready to mark it out, traveling around the country. It's kind of neat that you see the trailer on his YouTube page. But he asked, do you think that the peer-to-peer business on social media is impacting the retail market for larger dealers?
You know what? The peer-to-peer transactions that happen offline, these various places, if they're impacting, I would think so, a little bit. I mean, just a little.
You're talking about customers selling to other customers?
Yeah.
That's interesting. It's an interesting question. I remember, back Silver Doctors 2011, before we started a Bullion dealership, we were really focused on just getting that group buy and the lowest prices for our community. That one of our ideas, I remember talking about 4 or 5 larger websites back then, and my idea was just to launch a online website together to basically bring all our community together to get low price bullion. And I can't remember exactly who. I think actually one person was Harvey Oregon. Told me, he said, you know, Tyler, I don't think that's going to work out great when there's a collapse, because when there's a collapse or there's a loss of trust, people want to go to the places they can trust to purchase their bullion and know that they're on get it. So that was really a piece of information I took to heart before we went down this bullion pathway, was knowing that, you know, that he's right, that if you're out there and you're looking to purchase a couple $1,000s of gold or silver, are you going to go on Craigslist, or are you going to go to your peer-to-peer network, or are you going to go to a website like SD Bullion where you have 10,000 plus reviews and you know that we're going to send you product? And you know, that's where we, in 2011, that's why I made the decision, like, hey, that wasn't going to work on that community scale. It's definitely good, I think, for you know, some smaller, you know, purchases or sales. And sometimes it doesn't make any sense for that customer to ship us back 1 or 2 or 3 ounces, like, or maybe 5 ounces. Like, it takes a lot to ship. It takes us time to process. That's more of a local transaction. But when you're talking volume of thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars, that's when that peer-to-peer network doesn't really work that well. And that's where we focus on, I think, for SD Bullion.
Very good. Okay. From here on out, if you've already asked a question, hold your questions. I'm going to try to catch up on what's already here. And I'm going to answer ZXC's. He already did answer that. They will be charging sales tax here very soon. Bosi Tiat says, what is the best bullion dealer on your website right now?
Bullion deal on our website?
Yeah.
It's probably the special we're about to give you at the end of this.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Stay tuned for the end. Boss Tiat, that'll be coming at the end. DB Stupid, how do you source your junk silver? How tight is inventory from the sources?
So yeah, 90% silver. Obviously, a product that's no longer, you know, produced. One of my favorite products. I love it for its visibility, and I love to make sure we have plenty of inventory and stock, because when things start getting tight, it's the first product for premiums to spike on. We source that. Over the last 7 years, we've developed a lot of relationships with coin shops. I'll have a lot of customers now. We're constantly buying back from customers, but also, you know, coin shops, they get so much, quite frequently, they get more 90% than they can handle. So they pick up the phone and call us to sell their 90% too.
All right, very good. Alan, I guess this is back to follow up from the other question. He's concerned about pricing might be higher now with new prices, and probably guess with taxes. I guess, yeah, there will be higher. Can you have a $2,500 order price?
Yeah, so the thing about taxes is to understand that it's only going to be certain states, and it's not going to be every state. And it's going to be certain products within those states. So I think there's about around 30 some states that have exemptions on gold, silver products that we don't have to collect tax if you purchase, you know, precious metals from. There's actually probably more exemptions, and then there's times when we actually have to collect tax on the products. I think there might be 6 or 7 states where we actually have to just collect sales tax on everything. But the majority of states, the majority of customers aren't going to see a difference. They're going to be exempt from the tax on the products they purchase based on their location.
If you just simply Googled like gold, silver, online sales tax, I'm pretty sure that Silver Doctor's article will be the first search you could find it and drill down and see if your state has sales tax or not.
Right. Okay, very good. All right, Northeast. Ever thought of putting together a monthly subscription of, say, $1,500 or $2,000 a month, where if we commit the monthly spend with you and you in turn allow us to buy at your cost plus 2%?
Well, our margins aren't 2%, so
right.
I would love to take that deal, especially on you know, gold and silver. Sometimes, most of the time, our margins actually a little bit less than that. Yeah. But yeah, there has been talks about that. That's obviously a heavy IT project to be able to do a monthly subscription, because you have you know, you have metal prices that are constantly fluctuating. You have premium prices that are fluctuating. So the customer has to be willing to sign up for not knowing the market price every month and not knowing what the premium is going to be. And they can't be calling us after, you know, after we automatically charge their bank account or their credit card and say, well, Tyler, I didn't want to take that. I agreed to that, but I actually didn't mean it. And that's the hard part for us. Is the technology is a heavy lift. There's definitely some demand out there interested in it. I think we'll get there some way with the program we're working on. We have a couple programs that are addressing that I think are probably easy wins for us in that area. So I would stay tuned. But those are the things we kind of have talked about internally in the conference room on that area. But we know there's interest in there, so we're working on something.
All right, very good. Elliot Finesse, in coin specifications, sometimes it states precious metal content purity and then the metal content. My question is the metal content the precious metal only or the total weight of the coin?
Right. So if you compared like a 22 karat gold coin, like a gold eagle, where on the website it'll say it has an ounce of gold, but remember it's 22 carats, so it overall weight's like 1.09 troy ounces, right? So overall content, it definitely has an ounce of gold in it, but there's additional silver and copper mixed in. The same kind of story for the South African Krugerrand. It has, I think, no silver, but it has copper in it. That's why it's a little more reddish hue. But yeah, if it says 1 ounce of gold on our website, it's going to have 1 ounce of gold.
Right. Very good. Okay. Yes, that's right. Northeast, does the government require you to turn over sales and numbers and customer information?
No.
No. Okay. They don't require that. Very good.
The only time there is an exception, and it comes to it when someone sells to us. Really, the question is, well, A, what are they selling us? And B, how much? And that's you can go in the resource section of SD Bullion, the investment guide. And in there's a section about IRS 1099s.
All right. Mr. Vegeta, would you like showcasing videos of SD Bullion dealers on the Mr. Vegeta channel? He posts various deals from time to time on his channel.
What's his channel?
Mr. Vegeta.
Mr. Vegeta, I'll check it out. I know you actually, Mr. Vegeta. I think you put a lot of videos out there talking about various sales and such. So yeah. Definitely correspond at some point.
The Stacking Nerd also has a daily deals.
Well, let me back this up real quick, Sal. What was the guy's name? You said that had a trailer. I want to see that trailer.
Stacking NYC.
Okay, cool. Got it.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. He goes around. He's gone out to different cities, interact with different stackers and the like. It seems to be very well produced, and he's trying to get the word out of it.
Definitely want to see it. That sounds interesting.
Chuck and Plata, guys, after buying over $16,000 of silver from you in the U.S., you would not allow me to purchase all of the silver shield strike you offer, but said no as I was living in the Dominican Republic. So he's got part-time. He's at Chuck and Plata's in the Dominican Republic.
I don't know if he's ever had the experience of trying to ship gold or silver to the Dominican Republic. I've had experience in that. I've had experiences in other Latin American countries. The problem with the Latin American countries is the Postal Service. If someone gets tipped off at all, the package gets disappeared. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, so whose fault is it now? And then all of a sudden the insurance premiums start jacking up. So it always is a question of infrastructure and how the chain of command works. And if something gets stolen, well, who has to eat the loss, right?
Right.
That's us.
Yeah, very good. Okay, Silver Hair Stacker, explain policy of trades or buybacks.
Sure. So yeah, we've started to post if you go to Sell to Us page on SD Bullion, where we actually post what the price is that we're paying to buy back from you. So right now, you just call our trader if that price is looks good to you, and you lock in the trade. It's basically the opposite pathway of how you buy something from us. We take your information, what you have, we take our what we're bidding for it, lock in your price. You send us the metal, and we check it in and send you the payment.
Very good. Sorry, I just did a couple push-ups while you were answering. Donald won't believe me. Neither will Terry, but that's okay. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Okay, Michael Crobran, I guess follow up to his previous question. How does that cover your costs, wages, rents, marketing, website, etc.?
Well, he was the individual that asked us the question on how we sell at such low prices.
Right.
Right. I mean, volume. So we're the third most traffic, probably third or fourth in terms of total revenue for United States in terms of our reach. So yeah, high volume. We don't waste a lot of our capital on R&D and coming out with a lot of exclusive products. So the products that we showed, the Roaring Lion and Tree of Life, those are our 2 exclusive coins. We don't have any more than that. Our rounds that we have the Freedom Round, and we have the Proclaim Liberty Bar. So we just stay in our lane, and we stay focused on our products and keeping our SKU count reasonable, and that translates to lower overhead, and that's how we cover our costs with all the volume that we have.
Very good. All right. Coins A to Z says that I skipped his question. And if you just put in that character, shift and the character next to the number 1 on your keyboard, I don't know where that was. He may not have put that, but ask it again. And if you've already asked a question and you felt like I didn't answer, scroll or rewind back, because several of you have reposted your same questions, and I just would rather not to get confused by that. But let's see here. But I want to try to get as many questions as we can in. So let's see here. Okay. Let's see here. Miss Roman says they've got the best customer service support.
Awesome.
I was very impressed with SD. Very good. Thanks, Mr. Roman. Sean Perry, are you going to bring back the? Yeah. Well, I've already answered that question. Stacking Nerd, do you find it difficult to be competitive with pricing in your eBay store?
Well, yeah, eBay is a whole different can of worms, so to speak. So, eBay's it's a whole different animal. Some things I can't discuss on that topic. So, honestly, we don't really worry about the eBay store. Our focus really is on SD Bullion channel, and if eBay is kind of a side channel that we can't really discuss a lot of details.
Right. Okay, very good. All right, let me see here. And this thing is skipping ahead. Let's see here. Okay, let me see here. There's a lot of questions here. Let's see here. I'm trying to get back up here, trying to find where my last place was. Let's see. Okay. Well, are you selling it? Okay, here is, do you sell those t-shirts? CCT wants to know.
That's funny.
We have not yet. We have a couple different designs. If you're an employee here, so if he's interested in working here, you can always send us his resume.
There you go. All right. Terry Rapidu, what's better, silver or gold?
Yeah, it goes back to that question on perspective, and knowing that the ratio right now is at 85, and thinking of potentially where it might go in the next 10 years. I'm of the opinion it will shrink at some point, and I'm definitely a majority silver buyer. I would say our customer base is the same story. So the gold has its place for sure. And
yeah.
I think
I've got so far behind on the chat that I'm actually can't even get to the top of this thing. So I'm going to ask you guys to limit your chatting to just the questions for now, so I can get caught up. That's probably why I missed some questions here.
Yeah.
Okay. So Adri San says, why is it that most dealers on eBay always sell under the bullion category? The choice doesn't allow for e-bucks to apply. Can SD sell under a different category that would allow for e-bucks?
Yeah, so that goes back to some of the things I just can't discuss.
Right.
It kind of cuts into eBay's policies. We can't talk about.
Okay, Silver Hair Stacker, do you have any products on eBay eligible for e-bucks discount? Well, I guess that answers the same kind of question there. Okay, and let's see here. Okay, Chuck and Plata, are you selling any of the Silver Shield strikes? I have not seen any of the new ones for a long time.
Yeah, so it's I think we do still have some. We found that product line, the kind of the volume died down quite a bit, and when you merchandise a product, like we talk about the additional SKU or the additional product SKU that we add on to the website, there is a lot of fixed costs that goes into that. You get your images, you got your product description, you got to get your content, you're checking the inventory, get the inventory linked. That product series doesn't have a lot of wasn't generating a lot of revenue dollars, especially not profits, and so we've kind of moved away from that to focus in on more of the products that we know we can support, the national mint products, private mint of the rounds. Couple of cool series as well we want to support, but that series we've kind of moved away from it and kind of gone a different direction.
Very good. Okay, Michael Cabrin from MK Bars is inviting you to tour his foundry in L.A.
Oh,
to see
nice.
how he does this poured silver.
Right. Hey, Bars, what part of LA is it in?
Wonder if it's in East LA. Maybe. No, I don't know. I don't think it's in East LA. Let's see here. Let's see. He wants to know how to reach you guys.
How to reach us.
Yeah, he can send an email to sales@SD Bullion
Cool.
and just put attention James and Tyler, and that should be able to reach us.
Gen C, what do you think of Monet 24K? Have you heard of them? It's a jewelry, 24 karat jewelry manufacturer. Actually, bought a ring from them.
Right. Yeah, we have heard of them. I don't really know if I have a personal opinion on the matter. Jewelry is not an area that we focus on. It's just an interesting concept. Hopefully their margins are enough to support some really cool designs, because when you get into jewelry, you gotta have all these different sizes and you have all these different designs, and that's one of from my business mindset. When I analyzed that's one of the things I thought. I was like, well, geez, that 20%, yeah, that's I get the business model. That sounds really great to have that business model, but that I think that goes back in one of your community members' questions like that. That's got to be difficult to run. So we'll see how that turns out, but I don't mind the business concept.
Right.
It just went public, by the way, I think on one of the TSC junior ventures. So, maybe they capitalized and they spend the money. Maybe they can come up with some good stuff.
Right. Armored Gaming, can you explain the U.S. debt clout values silver at $600+?
Yeah, I don't think anybody knows where that comes from.
I know. That's how I've always.
I don't think anyone in the universe other than Mr. Debt Clout.
Right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Okay. Let's see here. Moving down, Ontario. Ontario at 100 just saying thank you for being here. Really enjoying all the good information. Well, thank you, Ontario.
Here's Ontario.
And Part-Time Preppers wants to know if you're selling more gold or silver recently. Which one you're selling more and compared to the past?
Definitely more silver. We see that as a very, I think over the last 7 years, I would say that weight in terms of gold to silver it's always been a lot more silver to gold. I want to say 80 to 100 per one last time I measured it, in terms of us selling 80 to 100 ounces of silver for every 1 ounce of gold. Still sell a lot of gold, but that's our ratio is probably pushing 100 to 1 of retail customers or customers purchasing from us.
All right. Centurion Silver says, are you prepared for the losses you will incur due to the lost sales resulting from taxes? And will you be charging tax in Michigan? Yeah,
so, well, Michigan's already basically turned on. So if you reside in Michigan, we don't have to collect tax on precious metals going to Michigan. And I think to highlight back to that point I addressed earlier, very few states, probably 6 or 7, where we actually have to collect tax on true precious metal bullion products. Your silver eagles, your silver maples, your silver buffaloes, your silver rounds. There's not that many, which is a huge thing for us. Is that we don't have to collect sales tax across the board across all our products for every state. We're in the industry that we're in, where there is a lot of exemptions that have already passed by states, but we don't have to collect tax on the sales going to those customers. So I'm not exactly sure what that impact's going to be, but I'm not expecting a huge impact, to be honest with you, on the sales tax.
Right. Okay. All right. Very good. And I'm trying to. Okay. Here's Coins A to Z question. As a top dealer, do you guys have any insight on PM prices in 2019 or 2020 that we don't? That's from Coins A to Z.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who's going to tell you they know what that is kind of guessing, or maybe using some fundamental analysis or technical. But I mean, probably the craziest video I've seen about price projections, and it's not from someone who's typically crazy. If you're aware of the guy, his name is Jeff Christian. He's the head of CPM Group. If you've been in this industry long enough, you probably know him from the 2010 CFTC hearing, where he talked about, the comics just leverage 100 to 1, whatever, not a big deal. And it was just shocking that someone would admit that in front of so many people. And he got a lot of people hate him because of that. I don't think they hate him. I think they hate the game, right? I think that's the point. And Jeff Christian actually has been damn accurate. In 2011, he was damn accurate about, gold's probably going to be going down from here. And he was weeks away from being right, silver on the same side. And so he just recently came out in 2017 talking about, based on fundamental analysis and just kind of the way things are going geopolitically, he thinks that 2022, 2024, it's pretty fair and easy to say that we'll have new nominal price highs by then, and it will be mainly driven by investment demand, right?
Yep.
That's the wild card. When you get enough investment demand, that's the side piece that adds the price to make it really run.
Right. Yeah. And, and I think some of the precipice of that question too is a lot of times bullion dealers will post these great deals and get our inboxes flooded with deals at very close to spot right before a major dip in the price. So I think
that's not true.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
That's just folklore. That's not real.
Right. Okay. And then Mike's got a question about, did Republic Metals take you guys down for any money?
No. So luckily we didn't lose it. Yeah, we didn't lose a single dollar. So we're very blessed and fortunate not to have incur a loss. If you search Republic Metals, I think we're the second top search result. So we purchased a lot of product from them. We sold a lot of their product, but we didn't incur a single dollar loss. The only thing we lost in that bankruptcy for the short term was our products that we had, our dyes and stuff that we had at that facility. So Roaring Lion, Tree of Life were minted at their facility. The Proclaim Liberty bars minted at their facility. So we lost some of those concepts, some of those product lines, but we didn't lose anything. We didn't lose any dollars. So we're really fortunate there.
Right. Bostiat, are coins bought on consignment? What happens to slow selling coins?
Are you talking about consignment at our place?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what that means.
Yeah. So I mean, there is sometimes like smaller, dealers or smaller entities that offer us consignment arrangements, and they put inventory there at our facility to see if it sells. It's if it doesn't sell and they want us to have it, send it back to them, then we just send it back to them. And so it's kind of up to them how they manage a consignment inventory. We don't have a lot of those by any means, but there is some out there that say, hey, I have a really cool design and I run a small coin shop, and I know you have a lot of customers, would you could consider taking this product on? We get so many offers in terms of product designs. We can't take all of them, but if they really want to put their own dollars behind it and it makes sense from us, we see it worth our time, then occasionally that deal will happen.
Right. And Swerge Duck keeps on asking questions in German. We don't ask questions in any other language other than English and Swahili. If you know Swahili, we'll take those questions, but not, let's see. Okay, I'm trying to get caught up here. How was the demand on copper strikes? Chuck and Plata asks.
I would say copper's not something that we put a lot of our effort and focus on in terms of what we look on a regular basis. So I think there's some demand out there, but it's nothing like gold, silver, platinum, palladium. It's probably number 5 on our website. Right.
Scully's Corner, who is a great, very talented silver pourer and caster in the community here. I think I know the answer to this, but I'll let you answer it again because you kind of did before. Would you consider selling hand-poured cast silver art by some of the YouTube artists? There's a great community on YouTube of silver pourers and craftsmen.
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely take a look at it.
What was his name again?
Scully's Corner.
Okay, got it.
There's another one called Silverback Stacker, does some great work too. There's a whole bunch of them. The Bear, there's a whole sub community of silver pourers. I mean, these guys are just absolutely incredibly talented in what they do.
Cool.
Scully's Corner was one of the first one that I ran into that just, I mean, works of art. I mean, highly detailed. I mean, it's like this is something like, you ever heard of that heads and tails silver statues where they do that gloss wax? Well, he's been doing stuff that rivals that. It's stunning. Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Trey's Treasures. Why don't you have the same price for credit cards as the e-check? That's an easy answer. Go ahead and tell them.
Well, yeah. So credit card companies charge us, several percent. E-checks are, transaction costs of whether it be 10, 15 cents. So that credit cards charge us money, so we have to pass that on in this industry with low margins. So e-checks are just kind of like sending us a check in the mail. It's actually more efficient for us to do an e-check than it is a check in the mail. So I know you asked that question earlier. We'd love to do e-checks more often because we have to open up the mail, process all the checks, and we're getting, I don't know, 400, 700 checks in the mail every single day. And just to open up all those takes like a couple hours. So we love e-checks.
To hire a Nightbot for that. Your thoughts on foreign gold sovereigns? Would you consider a SKU for a low-cost fractional gold and lower premium? Even a restrike would be okay. SKU, by the way, is spelled SKU, not SKEW. Just FYI.
So foreign fractional sovereign coins.
Like French roosters, stuff like that. That's possible. It's possible. It would have to be a really good deal so we could pass on savings to a customer base, but it's definitely something we could look into.
How about Alice in Chains, the rooster from Alice in Chains?
We didn't get it. Right over the head.
It's a song by
Alice in Chains. Sure. Yeah, the rooster. I know that song.
Yeah. All right. Too bad Colonic Stacker's not here to get that joke too. All right, let's see here. Armored Gaming, do you sell war nickels? Going to buying some people in 7 days. He's going to be buying some war nickels. Armored Gaming is. Do you guys sell war nickels?
No,
you're talking about the 40s nickels that have
35%. Yeah.
I have one of those. They're pretty sweet, but no, I don't think we have that SKU.
All right, let's see here. Okay. All right. Okay. Getting closer here to catching up. Let's see here. Okay, I think we're caught up now on the questions. I think I've missed Southside Stacker's got to head out. War in, Southside Stacker. Have a good night, my friend. He says peace out. I say war in. That's how I say goodbye to Southside. Let's see here. Very good. If I didn't get your question and you're type in this character and put it before your questions, we'll take a few more, and then before we wrap things up. No name. Okay, let's see here. All right, he's addressing somebody else. DB Stupid, do you guys already talk about the supply change on junk silver? I think we did talk about junk silver earlier.
Yeah. The one thing we haven't touched on, Sal, the Republic Mint, you might have covered this in one of your other videos, but that's had a profound effect on the premiums of the private minted rounds of bars. I would say that prior to them going Chapter 11 bankrupt, we were purchasing, say, a 1 ounce round. It was around 20, 25 cents for us to acquire a 1 ounce round.
Right.
We'd be selling it, sometime 39, 45 cents, 49 cents, somewhere around there. Ever since they went belly up, we've seen premiums increase almost 300%. So we're like 55, 60 cents from a lot of the private mint rounds bars going to us, and they're actually on 2 to 3 week delay. So for most mints, so it's an interesting time in terms of that the silver investor looking for private minted bars, rounds, low price silver, and I say we're at above average demand right now for the last 3 to 6 months.
Right.
And then one other point, I've been in this industry over 10 years. That was the lowest premiums I've ever seen. Yeah. That was the lowest stretch of premiums for a year or two there that has ever happened in my tenure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And if we could, there's just not a lot of capacity. So, hopefully we get through this Republic Metal situation, but it's just interesting time in the private minted business.
Yeah. Hurry and get your loan, son.
Yeah, get your loan, son.
I don't think Alan missed. You guys answered the question about he says, are the past $2,500 plus order buyers going to have to partially subsidize all the losses they are taking on the small $99 orders?
No. Yeah, I think we talked about that where, yeah.
All right, Magic Geek, any deals? Stay tuned to the end. There's going to be a promo code coming here. You have to stay tuned to the end here. Trey's, let's see here. Trey's Treasures. What do you all buy back if silver is fake? What do you do if the silver you buy back is fake?
Yeah. We send that back to the customer. So every single ounce that we purchase back from customer base, every single ounce is tested for purity. Quite a few devices over there that have to pass through for purity, and if it doesn't pass that, yeah, our terms and conditions cover us, and in terms of declining the purchase and sending that back to that customer.
Right. Terry Rabidou keeps asking if we can talk now. Well, Terry, I'll tell you what, I will let you photobomb this live stream, this interview. I will send you an invite if you will come in here with SD Bullion. You can join us if you would actually do it, but we know you'll never join, so that's why I can make that question. That's right. You'd shoot me an email, and I'll check my email right now, and let's see if she emails me, and I'll send her an invite. She can come in right here, and she can ask them a question. I'm just teasing her. All right, Scrapping Hoard Tinkering Fun. What are your thoughts on Palladium? It's breaking records.
Yeah, I've done multiple interviews on this topic. Probably the guy who's been most vocal out there beating the drum on this, his name's Dave Jensen. He's a mining consultant in Vancouver, Canada, and I've interviewed him multiple times on the metals and markets. So essentially what's going on, it seems like, technically on the charts, Palladium versus all four precious metals looks the most bullish for sure.
Right.
And then fundamentally, it's the most bullish when you drill down into how much is sitting in warehouses. The craziest thing I've seen this past week about Palladium, it keeps hitting record highs, it seems like every week, maybe day to day even. I mean, it hit 1430 odd in spot. Be careful when you go look at Palladium prices. Spot is much higher right now because, there's a backwardation, and all that means is that spot's higher than the futures NYMEX phony price.
Right.
So basically, the biggest, craziest thing I saw recently was Japan, who throughout the 1990s, 1980s, even early 2000s, they were a big Palladium consumer because they used a lot in electronics. In the 1990s, Japan was a huge source for electronics for the world. And if you go and drill down into their futures exchange, it's called the TOCOM. The TOCOM at this moment has 9 kilos of Palladium in their warehouse for their fractional reserve delivery system. So, I mean, that literally could be sitting in the security guard's desk.
Right.
It's just what you have is a situation where the physical supply is it's not there, and the price is going to keep going higher probably as time goes on until the supply starts coming back or people start
follow up. And because since you've talked to him and he knows a lot about the metal, I understand that it's more efficient as a catalytic conversion and with gasoline engines. I mean, yeah, with gasoline engines than platinum is, but platinum can be used for gasoline engines as well, right?
Right. Platinum gets used a lot more for diesel. And after that Volkswagen diesel scandal that happened, a lot of people in Europe are not using diesel anymore.
Right.
A lot of car manufacturers have to use Palladium based on the systems that they have now. And so a switch requires an entire change in the infrastructure of their business and time offline. So the question is, at what price equilibrium does that start to occur? Right. Probably at least 2 times the price, or maybe more. So
that's kind of what I was wondering, because I'm not going to find in my research, because I posted videos about that topic, and I had some people say, well, it's exclusive, and I'm like, well, actually, it's not. In fact, I know they use a conglomeration of different aluminum, platinum, and palladium together. It's just there's more of a greater concentration of palladium for the gasoline engines and greater concentration of platinum for the diesel engines. So thanks. All right. Kevin Kendall, do you reduce your inventory at a specific time so as to minimize taxes?
No, we don't have to do that here in Michigan. That is something they have to do in I believe Texas is one of the states where they have an inventory tax. We don't have an inventory tax.
California, that used to happen. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Will copper rounds be profitable eventually?
Depends on what price you get them at.
Yeah. Right.
That's essentially what it is. You got to go to coinflation to figure out what the price of copper is.
Yeah. DB Stupid, how do the refiners make any money? Are they paying the miners less than spot?
It's a good question. I haven't spent a lot of time thinking about how do they make money. Obviously, there's been 2 really well-known refiners that had issues here lately. I'm not exactly.
So the question again, repeat it one more time, Sal.
Let's see here.
Does the refiners purchase below spot?
No, typically it's around spot that they're getting it, maybe a hair off. But I mean, if you look at any high volume refiner of even scrap metal, I mean, gold, they're probably paying 98% typically. Silver, below 90, but I don't think refiners are getting ore from miners at 90%. I think they're getting it at a much higher price than that. Right. So you got to kind of look at the chain of the way it works. And I would imagine spot is typically what they're getting.
Right. Very cool. Gun fan, if we get taxed for bullion purchases, can we deduct the premiums on our taxes?
Good question. We're not tax accountants.
Yeah, well, to ask a tax accountant for that. Check out, does SD Silver Doctors have any requirements for the who and content of articles posted? You took a lot of heat from Marshall Swing and Bo Pony. I do like that.
Yeah, we have a whole team of people that it's a different company altogether, but I don't think James and I get into that at all.
It's always interesting to see the feedback that some of these things get.
Yeah. Thoughts on your big competition for APMEX, or your competition? Thoughts on them?
Not a lot of thoughts. I think there's room for multiple companies in this industry, and we know some of those guys very well that are good people. They have a lot more SKUs, a lot more products, and they have a lot more assortment. We're focused on our low prices and our 600,000 SKU count, and staying in our lane. So nothing more than that in terms of comments.
Good competitor, good fair game.
Yeah.
Right. I'm actually checking my email just in the off chance that Terry Rabideau actually did take me up on my offer. Silverback Stacker, where'd you go to pharmacy school, Tyler?
University of Toledo.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Just Dano, if I bought by check years ago, do I still get the e-check option today?
So a check from years ago through SD Bullion, he should have an e-check option. If he doesn't have him, email our sales team.
Okay, there we go. All right, very good. Let's see here. Okay, next, give us a spot Palladium deal tonight, Alan. Yeah, all right. Elliot, what type of coin tester do you guys recommend with a revolving stack of a few hundred ounces?
Yeah, so there's a couple of them. I mean, there's different price points for the ones that we utilize inside of our company. But for an average, consumer, average stacker, probably that Sigma Metalytic scanner works pretty well, and it depends on what your budget is. I think the original version is around $800, $900, and then they came out with the newer version with lots more bells and whistles, and that can go from somewhere between $1,300 to $2,000 off the top of my head. So kind of depends on how much you want to spend, but the Sigma Metalytics is a good scanner for your normal stacker.
Yeah, I was gonna say
kind of like a DIY if you're like someone who doesn't have that budget. We made a video, Elijah and myself here at SD on the YouTube channel, about specific gravity tests and how you can do that at home. So that's a very cost-effective manner, and it's non-invasive. It's not going to ruin your bullion. So if you learn how to do that well, you can test every piece you got and verify that it's legit.
And there's also the CCT coin slide. And a member of the community here named Cyber Curtain Twitcher has a very it's got the perfect angle. This thing is very consistent. You've seen that? Yeah.
I've seen that thing, that plastic flip holder thing that can tell you the right size. Yep, I remember that.
Let's see here. Okay. Down in New Mexico, someone asked what SD stands for. It's Silver Doctors. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Are you guys preppers? If so, what?
Yes, we sell survival food, water filtration systems on SD Bullion. It's kind of like whatever we have interest in. We tend to sell. So it's not necessarily our primary product line. We focus on our precious metals, but if you do go on your website and you click on the other category, there's some of those products available.
Will you sell the precious metal humanium? I did a video on that. It was kind of funny. It's a new precious metals humanium. It's what they do is you have to check the video out. It's kind of Jen C says I should try to get an interview with the U.S. Mint. Well, now that I've interviewed SD Bullion, the U.S. Mint better be giving me a call. I
got a contact for you if you need it. So I'll
nice. Yeah. Shoot me the contact. That'd be nice. All right.
Have fun.
None. Why do they only tax exempt Africa and the tax states? Well,
I'm not sure I
Are you
understood.
talking about countries?
yeah, that's a whole continent.
Yeah. So, I mean, international countries on our website, you should not be seeing any sort of taxes. So
Right.
if you're seeing that, then let us know. But
Yeah.
you should not be seeing taxes on international countries.
How much can James bench press? Asked Gabriel Garcia.
Oh man, I think at the peak of my college days, 305 was my peak.
All right, nice. Chris Garner, how much do you charge for a tube of Eagles?
It's a good question. I mean, random year 2019s, but we'd have to go on our own website to check.
Well, not only that, but I think we got to clarify because they don't sell animals. They only sell silver eagles. So you put a bunch of eagles in a tube. I've tried it. It doesn't work. Let's see here. Okay. Donald, New Mexico wants to know if you have Prince Albert in a can. Well, no, I don't think they do. I think I can answer that. But there will be a wall on the southern border. I like to troll him about that. Julian Bullion, can you send some SD Bullion polo shirts on random purchases like AppMex sent AppMex swag? Got to stay competitive.
That's good.
We like to compete on bullion prices more than we do with swag.
Yeah. All right, Nut is all about this African stuff. Why do they only tax exempt African? Oh, you're talking about African bullion. So in other words, the African wildlife series, that stuff like that, Rwanda coins.
I see.
I've never heard of that exclusion that African coins would be exempt and others wouldn't. So I think there may be a little bit of miscommunication.
Yeah, I've definitely heard. Our tax experts here. We have a lot of hours going into implementation of that sales tax on our website. I've heard some states have some kind of funny tax rules. I don't know if he's referring to that. I believe Illinois was talking about a Krugerrand. I was talking to our tax team about that. So if he's talking about that, I believe that might be what he's referring to. And
that's probably it.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure the answer is there.
There was an old law, I think, that didn't make them exempt, and I'm not sure if it's still applicable or not.
Right.
Right. All right, Timothy Whittington, does your company give to a charity? If so, which?
Yeah, so we're a Christian company. That's why we have the roaring lion. It's a symbol of Yahweh and the tree of life. So every year, 10% goes back to Christian foundations and organizations in terms of 10% of our profits. So,
Nice.
other than
Samaritan's Purse.
I'm not going to name any off because
okay.
It's more of a private thing, but we've been doing that ever since we started, and we'll continue to do that.
Very cool. All right, that's awesome. Let's see here. ZXC, who do I contact to get e-check capability added to my account after providing driver's license?
So it's a first purchase, pay like the normal route, like an old, mail a check or bank wire transfer, etc. And once you've cleared and that order's cleared and everything's been kosher, then you should have it flipped onto your account. If not, then contact sales.
All right, very good, very good. Let's see here. Michael Krobrin says thanks for the chat and video, and thanks to SD Bullion. Very cool. And let's see. Oh, CCT is in here. Yes, very good. He's the one of the coin slide. Let's see here. Any comments on offshore shore depositories for PMs?
Yeah, I mean, we have one that we work very closely with. We work with Loomis on our storage thing. Our storage program is a little bit different than a lot of our competitors. We work with Loomis, and basically you have a direct account with Loomis. We send you the contact information for Loomis, and they have I think several storage locations here in the United States, but they also have one in the Cayman Islands. The difference is for our storage accounts versus our competitor storage accounts is that we believe that you should have a direct account with them. So instead of going to maybe one of our competitors where you're just a sub account under their account, we want you not to have any exposure to us at all. That's a big differentiating fact. It's not like if one of the competitors went bankrupt, not necessarily meaning that your account's in jeopardy. It may be a little bit difficult. You might have to wait some time. It definitely might be locked down for a little bit. But with this our setup, you work directly with Loomis to get that account set up, and then from there you get to pick your storage destination. They have one down in the Cayman Islands we work with, and we have a lot of people down there, a lot of high net worth individuals down there. But you just have to do the evaluation of cost for the shipping, because especially if it's silver, it's expensive to get to the Cayman Islands. Not as expensive to get to some other areas in the world, and that's why Cayman Islands makes a lot of sense. But it's still a lot more than shipping to a U.S. depository.
Yeah, and I have an account with Loomis. They've been very, very good for me. I've had them for 4 or 5 years, so it's been a very, very good company.
Then another thing I'm not sure a lot of people know of. So if you're on our website, you can go to the storage page and look at that information on our storage program. The other thing that's interesting is we have a third party. We're not insurance, agents by any means, but there's a third party that's come to us with a deal to insure bullion at your residence. And if you look on our website and you go to I believe it's under that last category, which is what's it
under resources?
Yeah, it's under resources, and you go to Bullion Home Insurance.
Gold, silver storage.
So yeah, gold, silver storage will get you that storage information. But Bullion Home Insurance, you click on that link. There's been a company that approached us about insuring precious metals.
I'm gonna share the link here, or share.
That's a pretty unique product there, and a lot of people interested in that.
Okay, yeah. I'd just like to get the little gold house. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. All right, let's see here. Okay. Davey's a killer. Do you get many customers using or converting their crypto to precious metals?
Yeah. I mean, we had that one example late 2017. We had 2 or 3 people. I think the total buyback that we purchased was $1 million going to crypto. And then crypto to bullion has been weaker as of late because there seems to be
a lot of hodlers out there waiting for the next ramp.
They're waiting a little bit. They want to see that price go back up before they get back into bullion. So
right. The collector, do you guys treat a prepaid debit card the same as using a credit card?
Right. Yeah, it's treated the same.
Okay, very good. Let's see here. Alan, do you guys take your Corvettes over to the Toyota testing track near your facility to go for a spin on your lunch break?
That's pretty funny.
No. Don't have a Corvette, sir.
It's a low margin business.
Right.
And by the way, for clarification, Chuck and Plaza thanks you guys for tithing, and that tithing is 10% probably of your profits. So
right.
It's not 2%, and you charge. They make 2% margins, and they charge. It's 10% off their overhead of their profits. So yeah. Gun fan, how much crypto do you hold, or is it used immediately to get out of it, or is it used immediately to get out of it?
Yeah. So most of, I believe, as I couldn't speak on behalf of our competitors, but we use a solution called BitPay. We do not take physical possession of any cryptos. We're actually not allowed to based on our AML policy. So we're governed by really strict anti-money laundering policies.
Right.
And if we were to take crypto and we couldn't identify the person sending us money, then that would be an issue with the policy. So it's immediately converted to dollars immediately after it's sent.
Very good. Stacking Nerd's got a really good question. What's the most interesting thing you've bought back?
Huh. That's a really good question.
I would say personally in this industry, a 400-ounce gold bar was pretty interesting. Just
yeah,
pretty cool. It was a Canadian one, the kind that's like it looks like a little like meatloaf with the angles like that. It literally shined up the entire room. How beautiful it was.
That's cool. Do you have any pictures of it?
No, I wish we didn't really. I think it was like a flip phone back then, so I don't think it would have done it no justice.
All right, Chris Garner, we kind of touched on this, but it might be good as one of the final questions. We're wrapping it up here. What makes SD Bullion unique, and what is your market strategy?
Yeah, so it's interesting. For SD, our strategy is really to be the lowest price bullion provider. So you have a lot of different places out there selling some of the same products, and we're just leveraging our computer information system background. That's one of my strengths, and keeping our overhead low, and using systems to automate a lot of processes to just continue to stay in that lane. So I want to say they're necessarily we're unique compared to a lot of competitors outside of our prices and our service. So I think our customer service is awesome. Our shipping speed's fast. And we look at all those different areas: price, customer service, and then our shipping and how fast we can ship out. And that's just leveraging the technology aspect. So behind the scenes is the technology aspect. That's one of our greatest strengths. And I think that's what allows everything to tick.
Very good. Very good. All right. Awesome. Well, we'll take maybe 2 more questions. Brian, I think, is just joining us. So he didn't put the little squigglies before his question, but why don't you take American Express? I don't know many people that do.
Yeah. So the price that American Express charges us is much higher than the other ones, and we just felt that it wasn't fair to pass that buck on to everybody else that doesn't use the American Express if we had to increase our credit card rate to take it.
Yeah. All right. Everybody stick around, because these promo codes are going to be coming up here really soon here. Silver Ripples. What do you like to collect for yourself?
I'll speak to that. I would say the first exposure to silver was 90% junk when I was a little child, right? And my grandparents had it sitting in a closet, and you bring it out and feel like a pirate. So I'd say 90% was probably the first. And then as you go in, and you actually put some real savings into this. I personally think that, Silver Eagles is the first step. It's kind of a no-brainer because it's very ubiquitous. Everyone knows it. They recognize it. They trust it. And there's all types of reasons additional reasons I won't go into here, but I'll be making a video about it soon as to why people buy it. I would say Silver Eagles, and then maybe Maples, and then you start going to your bars and stuff like that. But in my core position, I like to have homogenous like product, because when it comes time, I don't necessarily think I'll be holding it for the rest of my life. I will hold a certain portion of it, for the rest of my life. I'll always have an allocation of precious metals because that's just prudent, I believe. But when it comes time to sell some of this stuff, I want to be able to do it efficiently.
Right. Very good. All right. Well, thank you, guys. We had a really good discussion here. Yeah. And Elliot says he gets a lot of 43% of his purchases from SD Bullion. And so
right. Hopefully we can get over 50 soon.
Yeah, we can get over 50%. But very good. And anybody else? I think we've answered most all the questions that were asked. If I missed some, I apologize. But I think I tried to be as concise as I could to get through as many questions. I appreciate everybody being respectful and asking their questions. And I want to thank again SD Bullion. We got Tyler Wall and James Anderson. So now this code, this special code here, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, right. Okay, so the special code, it is, I believe the coupon code is SAL. Capital S, it says capital S, lowercase a, or lowercase l, or it could be all caps, SAL. If you stick that in your cart and you're buying, the giveaway is, it's a 2013 Silver Britannia, 1/4 ounce, British Britannia Garasopa shipwreck silver coin. It's in the British coin department on our website. So if you put that in with your order and you enter in the coupon code SAL, you should be able to get it for free, so long as you're paying by either check or e-check. You can't buy it with just credit card. It won't work for just credit cards. So if you're doing it through check or e-check by, I believe, 6 p.m. on Sunday night, right. So you'll get that 2013 Royal British Mint Britannia Garasopa shipwreck coin. If you don't know about that coin, by the way, it's a pretty interesting backstory. Just real quick for the viewers, it does tell about the coin, on it, but I'll just give you a brief background on it. I believe it was a British steam merchant ship, and it was started in 1919, but it got sunk by German U-boats around World War I. And in 2011, the wreck was pulled up, and they pulled up, it looks like 48 tons of silver were recovered. And these coins were the first release of that metal. And they're made from that silver that was yanked all the way deep in the Atlantic from our forefathers. So it's pretty cool history to it, and it's a pretty collectible coin. So I think Sunday at 6 p.m. it ends. So if you have interest in getting it, get on our website and put in the cart and put Sal in and take advantage.
So that's one per order, and if you don't want to pay for shipping, just make sure you get over $99. So that's just one per order, and you get that. That's a great piece. It's a great.
It's on my screen right now, right?
Yeah, let me see. Let me get to your screen again. Yeah, that's it. That's the one. Yep.
Very good. Yeah, it's a cool. I remember when those came out. It is a fascinating story, and very nice of you guys to offer that.
Sure.
That code, the promo code is SAL.
Yep.
Uppercase S, lowercase a, lowercase L,
or all caps, or just capitalize the S and then lowercase a and L, and it should work.
Yeah. So you put that code in, you'll get this free if you pay with check or e-check. That's right. Very good. All right. Well, very good, guys. We had fun. Thank you, both of you guys, for being patient and going through all these questions and everything. And we had a good time here. Appreciate it. Do you guys have any other closing thoughts here before we end the end?
A lot of fun. You have a great community, Sal. We definitely appreciate the support you guys have provided us. We know there's a lot of people out there purchasing through SD Bullion, and definitely appreciate the business.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, thank you. I think we made some good connections and answered. I think the prospective clients and the customers, I think, got to know you. You got to know them a little better, and I think we've served our goals here. So I want to extend a multitude of gratitude to all of you guys for joining us here today, watching this, and this will be available for the replay. Obviously, the promo code's good until Sunday night, and that's the 20th at 6 p.m. So a multitude of gratitude to you all. Remember, keep your feet on the stars and keep reaching for the ground. Take care, all.